The following is an article I wrote probably around 2006. I have edited it slightly just to make it more understandable. We hear much about old souls incarnating among us who are leading the way into the golden age of spirit. It is considered the highest form of compliment to say of someone, "Oh, he or she is a very old soul." Of course, everyone would like to believe that they too are an old soul, or at least not a really young one. I was no different in my perspective on the subject until Thoth mentioned to me that someone I admired was a young soul. I was taken aback by this, saying, "How could this be? They seem quite evolved spiritually." It was then that this illumined one gave me insight into a slice of the universal perspective on soul evolution. Even this slice has a wide berth with many dimensional shadings, so with the guidance of my illumined mentor, I have chosen to break it down in the following way. Since time is relative and actually non-existent in the pure being, there is really no old or young to be evaluated through the passage of time when viewing a non-corporeal soul. From this vantage point, then, we would have to say that a young soul is one which has had less experience, and an old soul has had more experience. Yes, this too is a relative understanding. As removed from time, all souls are beyond that evaluation. However, it does relate to how the soul operates through incarnation and the fractal of that soul's reality even beyond the corporeal as it navigates through consciousness. The nature of experience can be vastly varied. An old soul, having had more experience than its younger counterpart, may have developed more spiritual awareness through the choices and actions it took in regard to its involvement in those experiences. However, the key words here are may have. Thoth brought to my attention that there are old souls incarnated in this world who have not made the best use of that experience. They have become mired in old forms long ago. There are others who have to some degree striven for change, yet nevertheless managed to embed themselves even deeper into the old debris as they struggled against the tide. Among old souls, there are the ancient ones who have held the course, not to perfection, but much further into union with Source. Their counterparts are the old souls of great intelligence, having had eons of time to evolve the mind, and yet they have not chosen to spiritualize the mind through the heart. They have instead chosen a very dark role in the linear evolutionary story. So to be an old soul offers many different possible profiles. Then there are the in-between souls, which is most common. They range in various degrees. How long, from an incarnational perspective, they have been playing the reality game. And what about a young soul? Following the same criterion as above, a young soul would have far less experience, much less opportunity in choice-making and actions. But what if the young soul makes many good choices and takes action in ways which are highly aligned to its program of light? You might say that a young soul would not be wise enough to do this, for wisdom comes through experience. Thoth informs us that this is not necessarily so. Wisdom can most certainly be developed through experience, but that is not the only route. In fact, it is the roundabout way to get there. Wisdom is a natural state of what we call divinity. Every soul is a hologram of the divinity, and thus is possessed of wisdom. Its wisdom may be separated from its consciousness, diverted into base intelligence, sabotage through desire, and so on. Nevertheless, it is there in the depths of the soul self, as a light under a bushel, waiting to be called forth from the tomb. Following this understanding, a young soul has just as much potential for actualizing its wisdom in the moment as does an old soul. Experience, as we all know, can be baggage. It carries a certain magnetic presence that can pull us toward all the memories of things gone wrong in the past. Thoth gave me the analogy of a baby sticking its finger in a flame. The flame burned the tiny finger, the baby cried, and remembered not to touch the flame ever again. In this example, experience brought wisdom, you say. But did it really? Experience itself does not bring wisdom, it brings knowledge. Through its experience with the flame, the baby made a choice based on new knowledge to limit its future experiences with the flame, so it would not again feel pain from it. What if instead the soul of this child reached for a greater evaluation of the experience and decided to find a way to interact with the flame that did not cause it pain? Perhaps by touching it with its feeling body, or with its finger but in a higher vibration of mind, like the yogis, or something less esoteric, like simply enjoying the beauty of the flame from a distance. In this way, the child is applying wisdom to the knowledge it gained through experience. Unfortunately, few souls learn in this matter. Mostly we choose to limit or divert the experience that brought us pain instead of understanding the pain more fully and where it might lead us to a greater and more pleasurable union with that very same focus of our attention. A young soul has more flexibility to take this path of making the most of its experiences. It has not yet become ingrained with past memories which hold it to old paradigms. These old paradigms are the basis for the magnetic pull we feel when mass consciousness accepts that this is the way it is. New souls say, "What do you mean? I haven't done this before." Between the asking of this question and the moment the young soul is likely drawn into the old paradigm stands a wide abyss. When enough souls call to it, "Come on in, the dark and limited is fine," that young soul may take the leap into the pit. Then it could well be lost for a few eons while it tries to figure out why it ever took the leap in the first place. But what about those young souls who leap beyond the abyss? Thoth assures me there are those new souls who do just that. There they stand, blazing in pure being, fresh from the creatrix of divine love. Through them, her offering is given eternally to the world. The young soul hears the cries within the abyss. They pause and look toward the calling. They consider. Their natural wisdom speaks to them, and they bound across and land safely upon the other side. They were prompted by the call of the natural gnosis. It is clear and strong, and they follow it. They turn and walk toward a place where the garden grows, a yet unspoiled potential of the sacred earth. Some people who are in their presence may decide that surely they must be old souls. They are so otherworldly and wise. These young souls offer their purity to the world. They come anew to show us who we really are. How great is the light we carry! Peel away the eons of experience, of limiting ourselves through pain and fear, and we are them, the young souls who bring first light into our reality again. Of course, this is a simplified picture, as there are many levels of choice a soul may make in such a moment of decision on the threshold. But I do believe it expresses the essence of what Thoth related to me. In conclusion, souls both young and old are vehicles of light that often become tossed in stormy seas. A newly built vessel may strike a reef in an uncharted sea and go down in its virgin voyage. An older ship may sail confidently on, secure in its many voyages through difficult climes, only to find itself impaled upon that same reef. Yet both old and young have the same pulse beat of spirit within them, the same divine voice speaking to them. It is the only compass we need to find our way, if we will but heed it. And I add at this time in 2024, this doesn't mean that you should want to be a young soul or want to be an old soul. It has nothing to do with it, really. There are different roles, different aspects of experience that go on through the whole picture. And if you go around saying, well, I'd rather choose this or I'd rather choose that in regard to your identity as a soul, you're already in trouble. Because we must simply be who we are in the moment and choose in the moment the path that divinity calls us to receive.